find each other in the community and connect that are a bit ad hoc right now, and I think that there's a lot of potential for progress here. So that's it for the State of the IndieWeb 2019. I'm going to stop here and introduce you to our first official keynote speaker, since I feel like I'm just your organizer giving you the updates. And that's Kit Hodgson. Hi. All right.
I have no slides. I'm technologically simple here.
Just put that there. There we go.
Your slides are there.
Thank you.
And my name is spelled correctly, which happens so infrequently. I'm displaying this, but not wearing it. And I'm talking on contractions and expansions. We start our journey with our world shaking, with nothing but contractions. It then explodes into an immeasurable expanse, and we are left in cycles of contractions and expansions until, like Hamlet, we shuffle off this mortal coil. Because fundamentally, this is what life is about. It is about a series of contractions and expansions. We start off small, unsure, excited, and interested in everything. We take our first steps. We learn. We expand. We fall down, and we're yelled at. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that other thing either. And we contract. We try again, and we explore. We taste everything. We watch. We continue to learn. We expand in the joy of this existence. And then we touch the hot plate. We recoil. We contract. And we discover that the microphone is only good right here. In time, we try again. We make friends. We explore with these friends, and we expand. And then we lose friends. We sit in our ball of pain, and our world becomes smaller. We contract a little bit more. We fall in love, and the world expands, and it is beautiful, and it is gorgeous. And our hearts are broken, and we contract again. And we're told that it gets better. Hold on, we survive. We start to thrive, and we expand again. Life happens. Life is this cycle, one after another. We have new schools, we have new friends, we have marriages, we have births, we have adoptions, we have breakups, we have new homes, we have new jobs, new states, new countries, new bosses, old hangups, death, loss, cancer, disability, job loss, the unforeseen and the unplanned. And we withdraw from the world. And then we find our causes, or sometimes our causes come and find us. We explore our world and we expand. We are sometimes criticized for our gender or our non-gender, for the color of our hair or the color of our skin, for simply being who we are, as if being ourselves is somehow wrong. We know it isn't, but we contract into ourselves nonetheless. And then we find our tribe. Those who understand the parts of us that are beautiful, the parts of us that should be without shame, the parts of us that simply are, and we can be ourselves. And in that comfort and the strength of our tribe, we expand again. We have expectations. I mean, come on, how hard can it be? And we are disappointed. But we share. We give our creations life. We give to the community. We give to the world, and we get crap back. There's this bug. There's this flaw. It isn't perfect. You're not perfect. We aren't perfect. We contract. We grudgingly give our time to those who, and we joyfully give it to those who understand the gift that our time is. We who create because we can't not create. We need this creation to exist. We need this object, this project, this process to live. We will it into creation and we expand. Mishaps befall us and we break. In that breaking we hurt, and in that hurting we contract. And then we heal. And in that healing we realize the gift that our breaking had, the gift, the story, the lesson. We expand again. We realize that we cannot change human nature. There will always be jerks, there will always be trolls, and there will always be assholes. There will always be those who choose to destroy instead of to create. And with this knowledge, once again, we contract. Until we realize that while we cannot change human nature, we can influence human behavior. We can demonstrate what a good person is. With our actions, with our demonstrations, with our understanding, and with our empathy, we expand. And how easy is it in these expansions to flitter out into the silos to share our lives? The silos are easy. They are popular and they are cool. And we want to be cool. Don't we all want to be cool? So we make connections and we join new networks and we expand again. We trade privacy for that ease. We hand our data over. We expand some way even though we lose a little bit. And we can justify that little bit. It's a small amount of loss, right? We can report all the ads as spam. I do this on Instagram. Every single ad is spam. So that we aren't a sentiment on some research scale somewhere. We opt out so that we aren't told what to think, which person or mistake to pile on to Twitter's outrage of the day. And we can pretend all we want in these silos, but we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves just a little bit every time. Because the only way to know the true arc of our story, the only way to understand the true depth of our experiences, and the only way to come to the true understanding of our own hero's journey is if we have all of the parts. When our data is siloed behind a login page, when our data is lost by a company that is sold or goes under or database died, your data's just gone, we lose a part of our own story. We become the blind men trying to describe the elephant. It's a wall, it's a tree trunk, it's a rope. Each of these are correct and they are incomplete. Each silo is only a part of the picture of who we are. Our memories fade. The fish become bigger. The intensity of the moment lessens. The wounds heal over, and we tell our tales from the position of an observer instead of a participant, from the narrator instead of the hero of our own story. When we own our own data, we can understand the contractions and expansions of our own lives. We see the data that we want to track, and we track it not because some corporate entity wants to sell us something we don't need, but rather because it is important to us. The data delights us. We see patterns about ourselves, and we expand. When we own our own data, we can look back at who we thought we were. We can see who we really were, who we are, and most importantly, we can see the trends towards who we want to become. With our own data, we can curate and we can shed who we didn't want to become who we want to be, and we can write the end of our own story. For this is the true power of owning our own data. To understand the cycles of contractions and expansions, to understand our own hero's journey, and to write our own story. I, along with hundreds, if not thousands of others, am grateful for all of you who build, who scratch your own technology itches, who share with your efforts and successes, and help the rest of us along the way. With you, we expand. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Kit. Once again, Kit Hodson, everyone. Up next, we have a keynote swap. We had originally scheduled Aaron to talk about the bleeding edge or cutting edge IndieWeb. However, we found an amazing story about changing your identity online that we decided was worth sharing with all of you. So please welcome Michelle Jordan on changing my domain.
Hi, I'm Jordan, or Michelle. Depends on which year you met me. I'd been Michelle since, I was born. That's the name my parents gave me. It's worked pretty well. But a couple years ago, searching for a job forever and ever and ever, and getting nothing. No interviews, barely getting email responses. Basically, I was completely ignored. In a minor fit of rage, overnight, I copied my website, changed every reference to Michelle to use my middle name, Jordan, and put it up at a different domain. Took my resume, stripped out everything that made it pretty, because if it's pretty, it's probably a girl, and removed all of my leadership and volunteer experience with organizations like Women Who Code. Started sending out that resume, and within 2 weeks, I had 4 interviews. I ended up speaking at a local meetup, and somebody heard me and thought I was kind of cool and offered me an interview, which led to a job, and I kind of forgot about the whole Jordan thing. That was just some angry weekend experience. And, whatever. I was working at this other job, things were going good. I'd been there about a year, and my contract was about to expire. And that meant it was time to start looking for a job. I was working at Nike, and there was a hiring freeze on my department. So my manager wanted to convert me, but the higher-up said no, nobody can be converted right now. So I started my job hunt again, and was not getting any traction again. So I decided that, maybe it was time to bring Jordan back. But I was kind of running into trouble because I now was trying to maintain 2 different online personas, and neither one felt like me. I had Michelle, which is where I posted all of my cool stuff, all the fun things I was doing, things that were interesting to me, where my passions were. And then Jordan, who was this kind of mysterious person, because I didn't really want to say anything about Jordan, because then you might find out that Jordan's a girl. That would be terrible. And they were both split, and they were both just, neither one was actually me. So I ended up having to kind of go all in and change all the things. Even having the 2 different things, it was getting confusing because, I didn't really want to maintain 2 LinkedIns. One is bad enough. But people were getting confused because they'd go to, my Jordan website where I said, hi, my name is Jordan, and here's my resume where I said I'm Jordan. And then they go to my LinkedIn and it's Michelle. So they're like, you don't know what you're doing. You can't even link to the right, social pages. I'm not hiring you for building websites. So I ended up really having to do all in and change my identity absolutely everywhere. I created new domain name. I had to change my Twitter, get a new Twitter, new GitHub, new Instagram, all the things, just to get a job. And that is such bullshit. It just sucks. And changing my name to Jordan kind of felt like giving into the system for a while. It was like, okay, so I can't be me, so I have to be this fake person. But maybe it's not so bad. It's hard to change things. It's hard to make the community better if you can't become a part of the community. If the community won't let you in, there's nothing you can do. So if what I have to do is be Jordan for a little bit, to get on the inside and make some changes, I guess that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. That's most of my story. I don't know. Yay.
I don't think I have anything to follow up on that. That's Thank you, Jordan. All right. Next up, we have Marty. Where's Marty? Stick around. Marty McGuire, who's going to talk about owning your mobile experience, which used to be a cutting edge thing, and now it just works, right?
Wow, Tantek.
No pressure.
Yeah. I'm going to immediately undercut that by saying, first, thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak up here with all these other great keynotes. Thanks for taking a chance on this. And thanks in advance for going on a journey that's probably going to be a little bit weird and intimate. Like, you're coming into how I use the internet. And I do that as much as I can through building blocks that the IndieWeb community has made, that in my, I guess, 3 or 4 years of digging into IndieWeb, trying to understand it, trying to build tools and things for myself, that I've been able to sort of cobble together. And I think in some sense, Tantek is right. These tools exist, and once you've kind of plugged the right things together, it works. But in another sense, this is a very organic thing that I have slowly accrued over time, and it has sharp edges, it has bruises, it has bleeding edges. Aaron, how are we looking for the... Okay, good. I can't see it over there. Oh, I'm plugged in. I think. I was mostly just vamping until the screen worked. The other one. This one. Thank you. Okay. Trying again. How about this? Okay. Welcome to my phone. Oh gosh. All right. I would like to start things off with some posting. So this is an app called Indigenous. It's built by Eddie Hinkle. And like most of the things I use, this is someone else's work. So Eddie, I hope I'm not doing you wrong by showcasing this here and how I happen to have learned to use it. I'm going to start with a photo post. I want to thank Jackie for posing with me for this earlier. Let's see. I'm excited to have an IndieWeb Summit Day. We'll get that sent off. And what this is doing in the background is doing 2 uploads. One, it's sending that photo off to a little service that I've built that stores media for me and just serves it back. And the other is actually making a post to my website. So we're gonna let that post. It takes about a minute. And meanwhile, I'm gonna show you the other, I think, more interesting parts of Indigenous. Indigenous is what we're calling an indie reader. So, nice, Jackie blowing it up over there. In the days, like a lot of folks, myself included, like to say we miss Google Reader. It was the days when RSS feeds were everywhere. You could follow all of the things that you cared about and nothing else. Seeing it all in a reverse chronological timeline, or however your app worked for you. And one of the things that was missing from that experience is the actual social aspects, being able to do something with that. So this is how Indigenous shows some of my feeds. I have a group called the IndieWeb that are basically just people that I have learned of through events like this. Let's see. I think I like Jackie's post here. And these are being pulled from the feeds on people's sites. And I really thought there'd be a photo there. It's cool. You don't need to apologize. I don't know why I called you out. And this is a nice mobile experience. This is an app it's native. I still like this post. So we can pull this up. You can see at the bottom of the screen. We have some options. These all will actually create new posts on my site. I will call Eddie out for this a little bit. If you click the button, there's very little feedback that anything happened. In theory, a like is being made on my site now, and will show up for Jackie later. Let's see. I skipped a step here. So posting a photo. One thing we talk about in the IndieWeb a lot is what we call posse. Like, you post stuff on your site, but most people don't read your site. So I want to take that photo that I just posted, and also put it on Twitter. So we get some reach. So we're gonna make a photo post. I think I said so excited for an IndieWeb Summit Day. And this is one of the kind of like uglier parts of my personal site flow, where other folks have automated this. I haven't. So I post to my site. I post it to Twitter. And if I want to experience some of the cooler parts of the IndieWeb, where things on oh y'all, my site might be broken right now. This is going to be very awkward. Cool. Here's what I can do. We can go to some pre-cooked example posts. One of the most important things you can do is post places where your community still is. So if that happens to be Twitter, also post things to Twitter. And through tools like Bridgie, which Santek mentioned, you can have responses come back. So here's an example of a post that I put on my own site. And if I click through the See Also link, you can see it's also got a tweet. A lot of folks have asked questions on Twitter, retweeted it, and replied. And because I have set up my site with Bridgie, I actually get those back. So we can see a lot of these are Twitter likes, reposts, and then the actual questions themselves come in as mentions. And if my website was working right now, we would be doing a live version. Trust me, it sometimes works. All right. Let's see. Since we're off the rails. Let me check my notes here. Right. This reader is great for following IndieWeb folks, but I also use it for a lot of other stuff. So I don't use Instagram, but I have an Instagram. I have a lot of friends that I follow on there. And through another tool built by Ryan Barrett called Granary, I'm able to actually take my Instagram feeds, pull them in through my reader, and check them out here. And if there's something that I like, I can like it on my site. If there's something I want to reply to, I can do that on my site, and if I want to, do that on Instagram as well. Oh yeah, let's see. It's one of my pirate friends in Baltimore. And I can look at all this stuff without having to load up Instagram, without having to have Facebook cookies tracking me around, and it feels like a little step more free. And it takes some effort. But I think it's worth it. Okay. With my site broken, I can't do these things. But I can get into some of the other weirder stuff. One thing that is still very bleeding edge is more exotic ways of posting, and there are wonderful tools. Let's see. We'll look at Monocle here. This is actually another piece of Aaron's work. It's an indie reader that runs in the browser, so I can use this instead of or in addition to a native app. And it also has. Do we have posting tools here? I like this very much. I do like this very much. That one gets a like. We'll see. Maybe these will show up someday. Gosh, what did I want to do? It's really tough when you break your website while you're trying to do a live demo. Oh, that was it. Right. I did myself a good thing here. So one thing I want to do, I was on Goodreads and I wanted to stop. So I built a thing to post reads on my site, and a lot of this was inspired by Gregor, who built IndieBookClub.biz. But I thought it would be even faster if I could basically post something I wanted to read from my phone. And this is where the work of Sebastian Endeweg and Rosemary Orchard really came in handy. Vinny of you have an iOS device, especially once iOS 13 comes out, you're going to want to play with shortcuts, because this is where IndieWeb building blocks actually come into your hands. And to some extent, it's difficult. You kind of have to be the IndieWeb building block in order to move things around. But through some of their work, I was able to create shortcuts that can use the same IndieWeb building blocks micropub to actually post to my site. And what I'm doing here is I have shared a Goodreads URL to my shortcut, which is going to post here. It's asking me whether I want to mark this as something I want to read, am I reading, or finish reading. I want to say it's to read. And then it's going to create a little micropub post, and off it went to my site. And the next time I get my site compiling, it'll be up there, and we can see slash reads, or sorry, tag slash books. We can see like these are things that I used to post to Goodreads, but now I can track them all on my site. And in theory, other folks on the IndieWeb can book club it up, see what other folks are reading, try to read things together. One last thing I will show before I hop out of here. That photo that Jackie and I took is a live photo. And this is where you get into the kind of stuff that you can only build when it's your website. Like this kind of thing is like new and hot on Boomerang and apps that like you send to people and it disappears. But I really like this little bouncy loop. So I'm going to share it to my website. And I do that through another shortcut I made called Live Photo to Micropub Video. It takes that loop, lets you, and this is all part of iOS so far. That was weird. Uploads it, put a caption. We're going to call this the IndieWeb dance. That's official now. And it will post that to my site. And I have a pre-baked. Make that same face?
Yeah, with the face in the background.
In a moment, yes. I can do this one. I'm a ham. All right, so to wrap this up and not take too much of y'all's time. Dang, where did my notes go? I've lost them. That's okay. We will. Go to my pre-baked demo. This is an example of what these look like on my site. So they're little looping videos that play silently. They animate for like 1 second, and this is the kind of thing that's pretty hard to put out. And I find there's a lot of creativity where if you're willing to dig in and get your hands dirty and understand these building blocks, which get easier month by month and year by year, you can start to like really own your own experience. And there are things I can do now with my phone, on my website, with the social web that I never would have imagined a few years ago. And if I lost this, boy, I would be really sad. So we'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
So, you got some real-world IndieWeb experience there. I think that was the first IndieWeb presentation that was 100% done on a mobile device. So, thank you, Marty, for taking that brave, bold step with your personal site.
Maybe next time it'll work.
Well, lots of stuff did work, right? And that really goes to another one of the big challenges is like basically in the last, since 2007, 10 years plus, everyone's switching to smartphones and smart devices and doing everything on their smartphones. So the more that we're able to conveniently just make work on our mobile devices with our own websites, the more we'll use them, the more we'll use them instead of all the surveillance capitalism that's out there. So for our final keynote, I'd like to welcome up Jackie, who's going to talk about making the IndieWeb for all.
HDMI? Oh, it works. Yeah, it's reliable.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. We're feeling good? We're okay? Yeah. All right. All right. You can't see that. That's probably for the better. You know, it's a good day if you can't remember your laptop password. All right. Let's pretend to be the same screen. Okay. Okay, we're good. All right. Gonna make this purely organic and go straight to the slides. I would say like, oh, you can go to this URL, but the bar is so small, so I'm not gonna entertain the idea. Oh, wow, that's the end. Awkward. All right. All right. All right. Cool. So evidently talk titles making IndieWeb camp open to all. This is something I've kind of toyed around with a little bit personally, and also it's like one of the core tenets, on bringing the things that we use every day, or at least I know, like most of y'all seeing online when I use every day, and bringing it to other people. So a little bit about me. I'm a guy who lives in some place people call NorCal, and I like working on things for people to help people live lives with other people. Website. There's three things that I want to kind of touch on today, and it took me a long time to kind of get these words together because they had to be catchy, something you can walk around and show to people. The first idea was around inspiration, like how do we take the things that make us passionate and share them with other people, like kind of passing the torch. As shown before with Marty, there's things that we do that we find that's enjoying, that's liberating, and also things we can share with others, like quirky, fun, and exciting. With the level of inspiration that we get from these things, there's a way to kind of encourage people to come do the same. That's not, okay, cool. To do the same with our sites. Not necessarily just to keep the door open, but to put the doors up so we don't burn ourselves out trying to bring every person in. With those two things, we can start reflecting and investigating on the things that we know that are difficult and reduce the barrier to entry, thus making that doorstop something we just copy and paste and put in other places. Cool, so starting off with inspiration. Hold on, I actually can't see my notes. That's fine, because I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, inspiration tends to be a thing that it's organic. It's something that we come into, we enjoy and expand on. I guess like one thing on my personal side, I used to run my own static site all at the back. It was something I enjoyed doing. It also gave me a chance to kind of tinker and mold. Like my site was clay. I could take it, mold it, craft it, and most of the times I could record it and share it with other people. When it came to things that I did on my site, I saw other people doing more in-depth things. Like there's people who can capture, where they've traveled to, things that they've consumed, and like, I mean, if it can be recorded, it can kind of be captured. And those kind of things led to prove that not only is this something that can be done all the time, but something that can be done very simply. And definitely in this age, we're more of the kind of people, like if it's a low effort and like a high return kind of thing, we're gonna just jump into it every single time. That's why we love memes and the internet. So there's a few ideas and things that I will try to propose today, and hopefully it can lead other conversations that we can have in our breakout sessions today. One thing that's always worked out, or I shouldn't say always, but it has a high success rate, is kind of giving people a chance to manipulate data and see how it's presented in real time. I'm going to start with one of the most infamous capers in history, Bonnie and Clyde. So let's say Bonnie and Clyde were on the same social media network, and they happen to be across the country. Clyde sees a post about Bonnie, breaking into Kay's Jewelers and getting this nice piece. We can manipulate and kind of show how the blocks of what we do here can kind of tie into other things. This is a way kind of demonstrating a post that Clyde would make his own site, provided he does with mobile on his website. Each part kind of proving that Clyde goes into there, tying into how one person's identity on their own site, because it can be something they can post up from another place and go from there. Each step is something that can be demonstrated up and down here. One thing, this is actually something I'm trying to work on, but I'm pretty sure somebody else has a better idea into it, is how do we show how content kind of spreads around. On some platforms, you can see Clark Lewis's posts when he was going down a river, or I'm trying to find more historical references. Other people in certain places. It could be one person who starts their site and they invite two other people. They start talking with one another. And a person who's outside the network then pulls another friend in. They start communicating. And so on and so forth. The thing is, right now, for you to do this, you have to kind of click through posts and go through the way. If there is a way to easily demonstrate how these things are shared. It would kind of encourage people like, my content can actually travel. I don't have to worry about it being trapped in my site, but there's other places it can go to. So yeah, visualizing how interactions kind of spread across the web through the internet. Yes, this is gonna be a fun one, so you might see your cell phone here. Kind of also demonstrating how we present our own content on our own sites. One thing we have the amazing luxury of is not being stuck into cookie cutter presentations. Like, we're not like some little random blue text on a random site or whatnot. We can demonstrate things exactly how we want. I can show you how people tend to reply to my site, or how someone else may want to check in a place, or short notes that people have on other sites. Go on, so on and so forth. And it can be also you up here. Like, each person is not constrained by whatever platform they have, because the platform is on their own definition, which kind of ties to something up from the jump. In order to not only let people in, but to make them feel like they can just stay in the space when they work on things, we have to kind of put tape on the floor, like, this is the easiest way to go this way, but from here you can go do other things. One thing I've tried to personally point on, I'm gonna see if I can get back to other sites, is ensure that it's always explained, like, if you want to kind of talk back, this is something you can lead into. I'm leading to other venues for anonymous identities. There has to be a fast way to jump to that. And making it easier for people to kind of get into places, which is tying into invitations. This is something I know as somebody who runs, or who used to rather run, like, monthly dinners. Inviting people to a place, just one place, is always kind of difficult. And trying to make it something that's easy to automate, easy to copy, easy to run, it's always going to be kind of hard. Typically, if somebody tells you, like, oh, I can't make it today, or if, like, when it comes to, like, homebrewer camps, or if there's, like, I can't RSVP to a site because of X, Y, and Q, it's usually because of something that either we haven't fully provided to them yet, or some kind of barrier that they run into and they're expecting from our experience. So it's like, how do we reach halfway, but are we on the same kind of road? Like, are we communicating from different paths? This ties into aspect, so the IndieWeb has a list of 12 principles. Okay, gotcha. All right. And this is one that I've always kind of read over and over. Whenever I try to do things, I do it for me, but also for, like, the most immediate people to my circle. And working and building those two things together are always kind of difficult for me. Like, kind of juggling, right? Kind of juggling how I can make something I can share with somebody, but also pull into other people. It's something I grew up, I'm the oldest of 5, so whenever I think of something, it's like, all right, how can I make sure me and Christopher and Rebecca, my siblings, like, all can work together and get this playing all the time? It's usually something I think that I had to focus on myself, but it's not only me, it's how we work together and get these things done. The easiest way to go about this is advocacy. We all obviously here are, advocating for a particular group of people to help share these ideas and notions. There is more anthropological, English isn't my first, no-tech approaches to get things done, and it can be as simple as, like, writing documentation that helps people understand, like, what microformats are, or even giving, like, more, I want to say, adjacent tools and, like, templates and things for the things that we need. This is not a linear slideshow. Okay, cool. Which kind of now ties into understanding where people are. We can then start working on the kind of things that they run into. So, sorry, I'm gonna fix that. So things that tend to trip people up. This is actually something I run into personally every time. I have to fix my search history. There's something called microdata. We don't necessarily use that. You can if you want. It won't necessarily work with most people's sites here. This is one thing that has also come up. People feel that there's nothing that they can just pick up and work with. There are solutions out there. It's just not what they're looking for, which is now kind of like a chicken and egg situation. Like, we don't know what we can provide you with. If you don't tell us, well, we have these things here. It's kind of like try them out so we can figure out some kind of middle ground. There is always this notion, and it's well-founded, that the IndieWeb is this tilted for people who like looking at 80 by 24 console screens, which is not entirely true. There's a lot of people out there who do art, who do music, and who will put on contents on the platform like microblog. This is the magic slide. Yes. Oh, so showstopper, and I use showstopper here in quotations to highlight how these are things that if they can't find immediately on, like, the homepage or two things, they're just like, well, this is not something I can use. Like, they don't have things that work for me. Audience control is a very obscure way of saying I want to, like, have content on the web that's meant for, like, you, and you, but no one else cannot access it. It's a very active topic that we have in IndieWeb right now in terms of kind of private posts, and it's something that's there's no real one size fits all kind of to those situations. Like what might work for me, like, password protected post may not work for somebody else because now you have to share this password. So then what does it actually mean in terms of security? Are these together? Gosh, all right, that's fine. Ephemeral identity is basically kind of having the ability to kind of dispose information or just how you present yourself in the web. Given that we are associated with DNS or domain names, it's kind of hard to just kind of disappear per se because we also kind of empirically archive everything. That's the last point. That's a slide. Let me say. That's fine. There was a middle slide about how kind of things can be compartmentalized, and that we kind of have to look into like a bento box kind of solution for things, but not necessarily to give everybody what they need from front, because we had to kind of encourage that there's blocks that people can then use to build themselves, but we'll put enough for you to at least get through the door. That ties into the idea of having not tightly coupled solutions, but things that you can just click, and kind of get going. So you can RSVP to events like this, or maybe even just like post from your site and kind of keep moving from there. With these extensions can kind of encourage people to start building their own sites. The thing that, and it's like kind of champions that we don't want to kind of control how you do your stuff, because then that way you are no better than like, Facebook or Twitter, these platforms. They start to control how you interact with the sites. What's going on? Okay, so this is this slide is different. That's fine. This is the part where we had to understand, and we have actually a good understanding. The wiki kind of documents things that we notice that people tend to get tripped on and where we go. We had to understand where we can kind of like encourage people to kind of keep pulling things in, but also how can we kind of get out there and say like, it's not as hard as it was 5 years ago. It's gotten a lot better. It's a lot easier, and there's ways we can get things done. So it's what we can do to pull people in. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. Most good things don't come easily, and they always come with a little strife, a little struggle. So that's where the third principle, rather, like building for us, we had to build for us, but also for the person that we kind of see in a room. Like, how can we ensure that whomever comes on next after us can easily get something that which then inspires them to invite other people and pull other things into the platform. We have a lot of itches. Like my wiki page, there's like 14 specific things. Like I'm trying to send posts from my site to write to my newsletter so I can like do it from one place versus 17. We have to, I'm gonna avoid saying we, or rather have to. Like we should encourage more people to take 5 things off their list and just hammer at it, just keep going. Because it creates like a record of how we go about things, how people can just think of something and kind of make it happen. And this is something I struggle with myself, but we also kind of have to hear what people are kind of saying is the hardest things. Like, people will say anything, but once we hear things that kind of surface to the top, like, I can't see your posts, I can't write to your site, we kind of have to, like, hone on those ideas and see where we can go from there. And that's where I'll close.
Once again, everyone, Jackie Alson. Am I saying that right? Yeah. Okay, and thank you to our keynote speakers being so timely. We are only running 5 minutes behind now. Well done. Okay, we are now entering the introductions and personal site demos section of our schedule, which means anyone that wants to give a personal site demo, like 2 minutes or less, is welcome to do so. And I'm going to demonstrate like just how minimal that can be. Let's see if I can with my site. If you want to demonstrate, why don't we get a few people lined up over on this bench here where the sign says for organizers and speakers only. And obviously if you're lining up there, you're going to come up here and speak. So yeah, feel free to.
An iPad with your time here.
So Marty's counting down the time, which you should already have started for me, because this whole thing, let's do it under 2 minutes. This is my website, tontic.com. I post things here like RSVPs, notes, photos, etc. And the most recent thing that I built on my website was a theme switcher, where I can switch it to this matrix-like theme that I did back in March for the 20th anniversary of the Matrix. Or I decided, well, if I'm going to make one theme, I should use CSS variables and make multiple themes. And so I made a Tron Legacy Colors themed theme as well. And it's pretty minimal. It just uses like a query parameter, and it even works in the permalinks and stays that way until you somehow find that magic take me home button on the home page. Makes it back to normal. That's it. All right, who's next? Come on up. If you're sitting there, it means you're coming up and demoing, so.
There's a bit of a technical issue, so we're going to go out of order.
Okay. You got that, or you want HDMI? Here we go.
I want HDMI. Here you go.
We're cruelly including plug-in time.
Of course. So what I want to demo,
Oh, yeah, what's
just
your name?
I'm JB Sharp. Phooey. Okay, what I want to demo is this RSS feed reader I'm working on that is designed for use with things like webcomics and serial stories, which I'm going to claim is needs a different perspective than the way a lot of RSS feed readers have been built. So I have here, Fluffy's going to be coming up shortly. I have here one of their comics. And what I want to emphasize about this is the focus on can't push any of the right buttons. The focus on the content of the comic with just a little side thing for browsing around to different points. I still have 30 seconds left. Wow, this is longer than I thought.
You can cut it
I'm gonna cut it early.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't know if there's a USB D. Oh, yeah, there is. That might work.
You want. USB or like, oh, USB.
Okay, that'll work. Cool. First time doing an iPad presentation here, so that's nice. Assuming this works. Yeah. All right. So my name is Jared White, and I've been slowly adding IndieWeb sort of things to my site over the last year. I've been mainly focusing on the publishing on my site and syndicating it elsewhere a bit, so I still need to add some of the social things like having replies and likes and things on my, showing up on my site and showing up on other people's indie websites. But basically, I'm focusing on being able to have a podcast on my own site, being able to post photos. There's me. Being able to have quotes and different things. I'm moving away from YouTube and using Vimeo as sort of a hosting thing that will easily allow me to add videos on my own site. So I haven't gotten all of my sort of past videos reposted on Vimeo and assembled on my own video page, but I'll do so here. Even though Vimeo sort of is its own silo with its own social network-ish sort of thing going on, because as a creator you pay for it and you can embed videos without ads on your own site, I feel like it's pretty decent if you're looking to do a lot with video. Following with a newsletter and Mastodon and things like that. And just real quick, because I have 8 seconds left, even though I use MailChimp, I create my own email newsletter issues on my own site and then copy them over with an API. So that's it. Thank you.
Somebody answer his phone.
While you're up here demoing, just don't touch this thing because it will mute the audio on the stream.
Two Jareds back to back to back. We call it squared. Okay, you guys, I plugged in the HDMI. Is that good enough? Or maybe it needs to be the thunder here. Hold on. Oh, is this the guy? No? Sorry? Yeah. I just do this Thunderbird? Okay.
Yeah, do that.
All right. My name's Jared, and I really appreciated all the keynotes. That was awesome, Jordan. Fantastic. This is going to come as a surprise to her, but Kit and I are best friends now. That was really well done. We have a lot of catching up to do, but we are expanding into, or contract. That was awesome. And honestly, I don't even really need visuals if it's not in the cards. I wonder if I'm that guy. I'm sorry. I apologize. I think this is a really nice. Thank you. This actually works. Oh, it's this one?
Try that one.
This works perfectly to demonstrate. It's like I have two surgeons working on me as I talk. You guys are both very handsome. Okay. It's a way to demonstrate perfectly that I'm in that less technical crowd. And if my website happens to show up, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah. It's not that I really want to demonstrate the website. All right, can't adjust. Oh, here we go. We got mouse power. It's not that I really want to demonstrate the website. I just want to offer a little history that hopefully provides insight into, I think, maybe the uphill but probably exciting climb to get to. I got 13 seconds. Stop. I got 12 seconds. What's that? I have 10 seconds of what it takes when you're non-techie to get online. Like, it took me so long to finally just give up on HTML and go with Squarespace. And that has been my talk. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay. I brought my own USB-C thing just in case. So,
Okay, HDMI.
yep.
Let's see how
Let's see if this works. Okay. So while I'm waiting for this to come up, so I'm Fluffy. Here is my website in theory. Where is it? Come on. Displays. Mirror. It should be mirroring. It says it's mirroring. Okay, let's try this other one. This is the brand new Keychron T10, which doesn't work as well as I thought. Okay. Let's see. How about this? Yeah, that would have been really smart. Let's see. Why isn't it coming up? There we go. Okay, so here's my website. It's beesbuzz.biz. I make a lot of different kinds of content. And so it was. There weren't any real CMSs that could handle my various very heterogeneous content types. So I built my own called Pubble. So it's very template based. I've got blog, which I use for long form stuff. I've got an art gallery. I make comics, which Jackie showed earlier, and so I've also got, it's got like this nested, I shouldn't have brought that up here, but I've got nested, like a nested archive, so I have like multiple archives that run in parallel. I did not really plan this very well. So here's the, so these are just like multiple archives that are nested together. And so with Pubble, it's also, it's based on Git deployments. It's like I build it as like a static site generator, only dynamic. So it's like, it's a Git workflow or it can use a Git workflow for doing rapid deployment. It's all containerized and everything. So if anyone else is interested in that sort of content management, please talk to me. That's it.
USB-C.
Got it. Boom.
That's terrifying.
You're up.
Cool. Okay. Well, that looks terrifying because it got the screen really tiny. But yeah, my site now, it's mjordan.codes, which is super exciting because I now have the same handle on everything because apparently Jordan is a less common name than Michelle. But I'm super excited about all my animations, like my swimming fish, and whenever you reload the page, the colors change. And this thing normally is not covering the navigation, but it spins around. And I have decided that I can be a girl on my website because once people get to my website, they don't care anymore. It's getting them there that's the problem. But yeah, so I have a lot of different things on there. I'm just pretty excited because all of it's my own drawings and things. And it's cool. Yay.
Whoever's next, you're going to be standing right here. Right here? No, you are next right now, but whoever's next after you. So come up and stand so we can swap right away.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. All right. There you go. Hi, everybody. I'm Andy Galpern. This is interesting because the bar on the bottom is not on the way bottom, but whatever. Anyway, I'm the founder of Cascade SF, which is a user experience design organization. We're based out of San Francisco. And basically, I work with designers and brands and companies, and I help them. I study the design industry, and I help companies align with designers, not as a recruiter, but more as an educator to help make products and software more usable. And I also do content strategy for Adobe as a freelancer on the side. And so what I wanted to do, I'm more like, I finally got this like simple, cute little website together, and I've created it with Webflow. But I was more curious, I'm more demonstrating this as a visual question, which is that as a content strategist, I write content for other companies. And I was wondering, can you replicate that content? This is on a cloud app site. Are we able to, even though that my work is owned by another company, is it okay for us to still own our writing and our content? And that becomes a question for me as the writer. So I'm curious of that, but also one of the reasons I'm here this weekend is I've been part of the IndieWeb camp for like 8 years or so, for a while. And I would like to develop a blog and create more content on my own personal site. So that's it. Yay. See y'all later. I'm gonna use my computer, or? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. You do. USB-C?
Yep.
Got it.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to both websites, but I can type it in.
Okay. Oh no, this is my nightmare. Okay. There it is.
Isn't USB-C supposed to go double-sided?
Yeah, it is.
Hi, I'm Lillian Kerbake. My domain is anomaly.net. And this will not be new. Okay, is it coming? Is it thinking about what it did? I'm plugging in the USB-C the other way, even though it's supposed to be. How many web developers does it take to get AV working? Really? Does it not? Does it hate us? What if we use mine?
It does hate us. Let's use your computer for this. Computers are a fad.
Clearly, we should have done all mobile presentations like yours. Okay, so for people that have seen my website before at previous IndieWeb summits, this will not be new. What? Okay, there we go. Yay! All right, so this is my website, which I am kind of at the point where I'm doing the opposite of what a lot of people are doing, which is that I'm splitting my dynamic content away from kind of my more static content. So this is my internet landing page and where all my blog stuff goes. But I also have anomaly.world, which was originally set up for a long distance trip that I did, but all of my Instagram and check-in posts go here. So I am revamping this to essentially be my Foursquare check-ins and Instagram dynamic posts, and I would click on check-ins. Come on. Oh, come on, internet. It's my website, so So currently the only dynamic content that I have on a regular basis on my own website is the WordPress there. Well, you can see my check-ins. Oh, there's my, okay. It's never gonna load. Yay.
Okay, no website. Boxes. I'm Johannes. Some years back, I did Indie.
Up here.
Microphone. Oh, I'm sorry. Microphone. Okay, so I'm Johannes.
HDMI.
No, I'm not doing. I'm just showing some boxes. Some years back, I don't remember how many years back at IndieWeb camp, we were talking about little boxes, and somebody said we should have an indie box. Okay, well, it now exists. You can buy it. Basically, I productized the whole thing. Currently, it only runs Nextcloud, which is basically an open source implementation of Google Docs, calendaring, file sharing, and so forth and so forth. There's at least one customer in the audience. It exists, and I would like to bring a lot of IndieWeb stuff here as well. There's some practical difficulties in all sorts of things in putting it behind a firewall, but I just wanted to tell you that it exists. This is based on the Intel NUC, and this one is based on the Raspberry Pi.
Want to just try this one more time?
We're gonna give it another shot.
Yeah, we're gonna cross our fingers.
All right. I feel like this is gonna be the time.
Why are they so not bendy? Okay.
USB-C and U.
Maybe, possibly.
What about this one? Did we try this already? No, that's lightning. Okay, the loaner is a dud.
Wah, wah, wah.
Okay. This should be.
Yes. Should.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Just missing the-
Nope.
Hi. My name is Jonathan LaCour. Cleverdevil.io, Cleverdevil on all the things. This is my site. It's built on Known, which is open source CMS. I wanted to show a couple different things that I added recently. One of the coolest things I added recently is these summary pages. So you can actually click on one of these and see what happened in April of 2019. And you can see that I had, here, I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. I posted 188 times, including 42 records of what I watched on movies, TV, and stuff. 39 video games I played. That's automatically posted from my Nintendo Switch using very dirty hacks. It's pretty fun. And all sorts of good stuff in here. All the check-ins on different places I have been in that month. Here's all the things that I watched, all the video games that I played, and podcasts I listened to, my microblog. So this is a cool new thing that I did. But one of the things that I wanted to impress upon everyone, if this is your first IndieWeb kind of event, for me, the most important thing about my site, and hopefully all about your sites eventually, is memories. And how important they can be in our lives. So I want to show you real quickly, if I click on my archive page here, you can see that I have this little kind of interface which shows all the days in each year which I have content. And if I scroll down, I've had a bunch of different personal websites over the years. I went through a process of getting all of my content from all of those places, all of my stuff from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my legacy domains, and now it's all there back to 2002. This year I lost my dog, who was 16. He was very special to me. I put the engagement ring around his neck when I proposed to my wife, and he was very important. But the cool thing is I can go search for his name, Winston, on my site, and you can see that we took family pictures with him before we had to say goodbye, and he was resting on that. But if you go all the way back to the very first page, you can see on December 24th, 2002, when I gave my not yet wife, my longtime girlfriend, a puppy. And so memories are important. Own your identity. Hold on to that. This is not encumbered by any silo. It's mine. Those are mine.
USB-C?
Yes. Okay. Pick a board. Let's see, there we go. All right, that is a small, hold on, resolution. Thank you. Let's see if I can get this to be a little more reasonable. There we go. All right, so hi everybody. My name is Micah Silverman. I'm a total noob here, and great
great to meet you all. I have the distinct pleasure, although I don't know if he'd characterize it this way, of working with Aaron. And I'm a software developer and developer evangelist for Okta. And what I just wanted to show you quickly is my site here. It's a fitnerd.com, and it just has some random stuff. I haven't been that active with it. This particular post is me fixing a Dark Tower keypad using an Adafruit keypad replacement. But one of the things it does is each time it loads, it presents either an angel or a devil of me, which is aligned with my chaotic neutral disposition. But more importantly, it is a static site that is currently hosted on Netlify by pointing to my GitHub repo, and all of the files I have locally. So Netlify could go down, GitHub could blow up, I could easily rehost this somewhere else. It's using a static site generator called Jekyll. Happy to talk to anybody who is interested in Jekyll or Hugo. And what I'm working on is a little API add-on for Keybase and Netlify, where you can keep all your files on a public folder on Keybase and post directly to Netlify. Yay! Thank you.
All right. Are we going to try the loaner?
This one will work because I've plugged in here before.
Okay. Thank you, Darius. Is this the loaner then?
I mean, it's just my laptop, but sure, yes. This should work. Let's mirror. Mirror.
And then you need to pick the resolution. Or, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, good.
Thank you very much, Darius. I just met Darius, and he mentioned he knew me from my website, which is nice, considering that it's an extremely low-tech website. And I debated whether I was going to share this or not, but I thought, well, there may be people that will benefit from me sharing this, because I'm a systems engineer, applied mathematician, musician, do all these things. I don't really so far haven't had time to get deep into web design, but I learned HTML a long time ago, and just bare bones stuff, and very few sets of commands allowed me to create lots of pages, and I own several domains and can share content, music content, animation, all that kind of stuff. I mean, like all kinds of different IP. And so that was the main reason I wanted to share this. So there are all these albums, including one that is about to be released on 4th of July. And I really appreciated Kit's therapeutic talk, especially about silos. I've had the experience of having YouTube and other accounts with tens of thousands of views and stuff, and my account gets locked out, and they're still selling ads. So I've had, that's just happened over and over again. So I just learned about IndieWeb last week, and so this is a pretty amazing experience for me to be here and to meet the people I've met so far. Anyway, but the main point of me being here and talking about this at the moment to show you the site is that I've got a lot of mileage out of just HTML. I mean, just really old school stuff. And, time's up. Thanks.
All right. Oh, sorry. Where did it go? Yeah, just demoing my own laptop. It's weird. I've been following, I've seen Kevin's website since '99, I think. But this is my website. Mostly what I want to show is, I'm Darius Kazemi, otherwise known as Tiny Subversions. I mostly want to show that I use Google Sheets as my CMS. Google.com, this is Google. It's a search engine site. 7/1/19. That should work. There it is. My newest project is Google. The cool thing is it means that I can open up Google Docs on my phone and update my website wherever I am. So that's mostly why I do this. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show. I can just incognito it if someone needs to.
Do you need to use your own or do you want to swap?
Use my own, please.
Okay.
Here, I'll pull this out.
Yeah, go for it.
Tantek, I'll leave this here.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Let's hope this works. All right, cool. Hi, I'm Mimit. My website is Nightlight. I have my own kind of indie reader, an RSS reader. Like for Google, I was a Google Reader user and then like RIP Google Reader, but also it's kind of like a Tumblr, so Tumblr RIP as well. It has like various things like I could do like RSVP, some kind of natural language kind of thing. Is okay, I can add that. I want to reply to Nabil's post in the back there, and so I can do a reply. I'll add that and I can post it. It has kind of rich content. So here's an XXO video from last year. You can paste it in. It'll unfurl the link and put some, rich data in there. I can go to a website. I have a bookmarklet here. I can do a reblog, pick a picture, reblog that to my website. This is how it looks like in the end. This is kind of like the photos. It's mainly like a photo blog. I try to make it like kind of Tumblr-ish, but also has different things like that. I try to pull in the piece like FedBridgey and the Granary code base. I'm trying to make like the JavaScript version of that. So it's called Social Butterfly. It basically tries to pull in ActivityPub and WebFinger and Web Mentions and all this stuff into like one thing that you can reuse. You just do npm install and then just kind of like reuse that library as needed. And then just like as a final note, just to be silly, before I got into IndieWeb, I was making tiny houses, and one of the guys that started the tiny houses movement is like Jay Schaefer, and one of his things, what he was starting was do like the Napoleon complex. For if you get that joke, and one of the working subtitle here was co-housing for the antisocial, and so for me that's some kind of like overlap for the IndieWeb. Like I tends to be the introverted crowd a little bit, but we do want to be social because we're humans, and so like there's some kind of like but we want to be like have our own independent kind of thing, and so yeah, that's sort of like the vibe. So. Okay, there you go. Thanks. Who's next? You want to use your own laptop for this? Okay. I got HDMI. I got that right there.
Why is my mouse stop working? Or no?
It's working.
It's working?
Yeah.
Oh. There we go. All right, so my name is Tomas Quinones, longtime IT guy, neophyte programmer. Always wanted to do some like web stuff. And lately, after going through Free Code Camp, I'm starting to get ideas of what I really want to do with it. Also a very avid cyclist. I do a lot of backcountry exploration. And what I'd like to do is take all my spot tracker check-ins and tracks, as well as my ride with GPS recorded tracks, and put them on a personal heat map, which I don't know if you can see this very well. This only represents probably about 10% of the riding that I've done in the past 10 years. There's a lot more riding that goes more towards like Southeast Oregon that's not shown here yet. I couldn't get the page to render properly. It's kind of messed up. But what I'd like to do is take something I found on GitHub, implement it on my own personal blog, and use the Ride with GPS API to do like a daily pull of any rides that I've done and include it on that heat map. The spot tracker has a way to share like what your daily check-in or your regular check-ins are or your tracks, but it looks like they're no longer showing my entire history. It's only showing my last check-in from a few days ago, which is just at my office. But I'd like to also like use the Spot API to pull my my check-ins and tracks and actually store them so I have a history rather than just whatever Spot decides to show me at any one time. And all this kind of accumulates to my goal of riding the Baja Divide in December over 6 weeks. So. Yay!
Sure, yeah, thank you.
So Andy has also thankfully volunteered to take photos today. So we'll see you around some photos.
Hey everyone, my name is Katie Johnson. I'm a product designer, and I wanted to show you this website that I built with some folks in Bellingham, where I moved from somewhat recently, that we use to help support a community design experiment and just help to kind of coalesce and build community around design and technologists in town. And we created this website to, using Materialize, to help make that more accessible, make the activities of the community more visible to whoever wants to get involved. And one of the big things we did was create a peer mentoring program where people took a survey and were algorithmically matched with other people who had complementary skills to share, and then they were matched. And we did a workshop in person to help facilitate goal setting around those matches. So we published the methodology for the kind of intention for the experiment on the website, so folks could really see what they were getting, kind of what the thinking was behind it, and see if they wanted to get involved and be a participant. So this was a fun way to kind of design something for the community, and also publish it in a way that was available. And we got to buy the bellingham.design domain.
Yep. It's on this side. Thank you. I hope it works. Linux and HDMI, I don't know. Oh, I don't know how to share my screen. I can just, I just do this. Is that dragging across? Yes. Go, 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 go. Okay, so my name's Malcolm. My website is unicyclic.com. I'll make that a bit bigger. Cool. All right. So my homepage, oh, I can't see it. My eyes don't work that well. Okay, so my homepage is actually on unicyclic.com//mal. Okay, and something I've added to my site recently is I have like a whole IndieWeb section on my site. I can't read this. I'm just going to guess and go back. Is that typing? Oh, I can see better here. Cool. Okay, so this is a new thing I did that I guess I can put it out as a challenge to people. If you can write a follow post to this page, then this page will follow you back. So it's a bit tricky. It looks you up and then tries to find a feed to follow. So like there's some discovery issues around that. So if you do try it and you get a web mention message back from, you might need to look up what a follow post is first, but once you look up what that is, tell me what sort of reply you get from it. Oh no, that's me out of time.
Yay! Nice work.
HDMI or Thunderbolt. Where is my mouse? There we go. My name's Jack Jameson. I'm academic and I'm interested in values and web infrastructure, so IndieWeb's my kind of thing. But what I want to show off, my site here is running on WordPress, and I've been working on a plugin that's a microsub server that runs on your WordPress site, which means you can use applications like Indigenous or Monocle that Marty was showing off on his mobile to follow your feeds, and all of the aggregating and pulling together feeds is happening right on my server. And I posted just this morning Getting Started Guide and pushed version 1.0 to my GitHub. So I'm pretty happy about that. Here's what it looks like on the back end. You can see a list of channels. I can open up a channel and it'll show me what feeds I'm following, and I can add additional feeds. And then here's what it looks like in Monocle. Here's some posts, or in another Microsoft client together. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Great, thank you.
Let's try this back here.
There we go. All right, so hi, my name is Dave Peck. I'm an engineer and investor in Seattle. And this is my personal website. I'm both excited and nervous to show it to you, primarily because according to my logs, there are exactly 2 people who look at it to date. So you're probably number 43 through 48 if there are 46 people in the room. And that's my mom and dad. It's a super minimalist website because I'm not a designer, so I keep the focus on text primarily. But the thing I wanted to show is I do a little bit of audio work on the side, and I wanted to find a way to get audio in line with the content. So I built this little player that I'm pretty excited about that is as minimal as the rest of the website. And I don't think any audio is going to come out. That's fine. You can just press a button and listen to tracks that I've been working on with friends. And I kind of geek out on music here a little bit, if anybody wants to talk about that. I heard somebody mention static website, Jekyll. That's what this is. And actually, one of my technical interests right now is how to stand up a micropub endpoint, web mention endpoint, et cetera, tied to a static backend. So something to think about. Maybe other people are interested in talking about that today. Thanks.
Next up. Don't need to unplug it. The same computer back in.
Sweet. Good to go.
Just name and domain.
Sweet. My domain is maxwelldawson.com. Once you know that, you also know my human name. Very convenient. There are things on the website, things for me, things for you, poems, games, articles, whatever you want. Take a look sometime. That's all.
Sweet. All right, so this is my site, and I read an article a long while ago actually, that was something along the lines of, this is just a site, so it shouldn't be more complicated than what you need it to be. So when I built this site, when I was thinking about building this site, instead of using any of the frameworks that they have out today, Angular, React, and Vue, I was just like, well, all I need to do is display information, so why would I make it any more complicated than that? So this kind of inspired me to make this site that is just straight HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and my own designs. And yeah, so it is pretty simple. I mean, it's just basically, my information, my experience or whatever, and so my work. That's all it is. And yeah, pretty proud about how it turned out. So yeah.
Incognito. Cool. So I'm just going to show 2 sites. This is my canonical site, I guess. This is me. Largely, I just want to kind of show how all of this here is actually an H card, but it's like text, so you can read it, but it's also readable for computers. I was going to do a SWOT test, but I don't think I want to do that anymore. SWOT stands for the social web, the AT. Acid test. Acid test, yes. ACID's also another acronym, which you have to expand. Cool, but yeah, that's largely it. There is a bit around subscriptions. I think I changed this page a little bit. Nope, that's wrong. Yeah, I just kind of want to demonstrate how a site can still show content but also be nice, and in my perspective and whatnot. Yeah, emojis showing location, H cards and stuff. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Damn it, that's what I was trying to avoid. All right, I can't get a copy of that. Sorry.
Man, Shift P.
Hey everybody, I am jgregorymcvary.com. I wish my name was shorter because it's really hard to fit on note cards. So this is my site, and it is like Lily. I do a couple static sites and then put my social stream like Jonathan on Known, because it's just, everything just works there, and I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So I have fun, like, just get a couple fun pages, and I started playing with this stuff because I had poetry in my head, and I had to learn some CSS to get the pictures and the words out. Haven't gotten there yet, but I've been playing with my H card, and then I put in a lot of feeds of mine because I post like 80, 90 times a day. So when you add me to my reader, then you unsubscribe like 2 minutes later. So I have a bunch of different feeds that people can follow. But what I am most excited about is I am playing with Kirby a little bit to do the same thing, because I literally was making every single page. So like I would change my navigation and then I would go change it, well, 97 times if that's how many pages I had. But I love Kirby because it's all the files get saved in just a text file, and it's just PHP. And really I'm using it to learn PHP because I've never done any of this stuff before. And the documentation to learn PHP doesn't really exist, but I need 2 things to learn: passion in a community, and I have both there, versus trying to watch a LinkedIn video or a YouTube video. So this is on Kirby, and it looks just like the same, and I've been slowly playing and got my notes to work today, just yesterday. So I'm able to add in my notes, and I've got the cards and pagination, so I'm excited because I've never really built anything that did stuff. I just used things that other people built and just try to make them pretty. So now I want to be pretty and building. Okay, not my computer.
Ooh, I'm kind of short. All right. All right, so I'm Tira. My site is not anywhere near being done. I've been working on it probably since November when I was last in Berlin. Right now it's using Grav. There's really nothing on it, so this weekend I definitely want to try to do it. This is all template stuff except for my gallery. Yeah, there's not really much on here, but I want to definitely implement a lot of the IndieWeb stuff for this. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to do that this weekend and pick a lot of your guys' brains. So, yeah, that's it.
Just gonna There we go. Close all the windows. Okay. So my name is David Chansky. I decided not to bring my laptop so that I could talk for more time. I can't talk quite as fast as some people, but so this is my website. It is deliberately Spartan. It's white, plain, and that's because I figured I would put as little on it as possible and then allow you to look at a whole bunch of other stuff should you want to. There are other people out there who use the tools that I've built for the IndieWeb, since I do a lot of the WordPress stuff more than I do, but whenever I go on trips I do a lot more, so I decided to try some check-ins. Since I don't do that when I'm really at home, I took a picture. See, there I am doing nothing. I wrote about all the things I packed to come here, so if you want to steal my bag, you know exactly what you get. And that's pretty much it for now. I'll leave now.
See if this works. Oh yeah. Hi, my name's Don Park, web developer, software developer, various sorts. And there's a feature that I hadn't seen mentioned yet on the page. I don't really know in OS 10 how to make this bigger. There we go. And that is, how do you authenticate to your website, right? Like it's something everybody needs, and nobody's demoed that so far. I assume that people are using HTTP logins, various things. But there's IndieAuth, and IndieAuth is quite useful, where you basically are using a trusted third party to say, I am my domain. My domain is who I am. And you start with just that. And anyone can log into my website. Just go there, log in. It'll send you to an authentication service. Of course, live demos never work. But if this were working, you would see, oh, there we go. And they'll look for rel.me links back to whatever service is on a list of approved services, which some Aaron Preki code is running right now to display that. And you click through, and if I were logged into any of those services here, I would come back, and instead of this field here, it'd say you're logged in. And it's like an indie-based way to log in, which everybody needs. So thanks. Yeah. Okay, who's next up? Because I think we have run out of people on the line. Ooh. On here?
Yeah, okay.
I haven't actually done a demo yet, so good morning. I'm Aaron Parecki. I just want to show one quick thing about my website. My website is aaronpk.com. The last thing I did on this website was a minor optimization because I noticed that on some of the posts that get a lot of likes or comments, I'm trying to find one that had a lot of, here, this one. All of these little avatars were starting to actually bog down the page size quite a bit. And what I did was, thanks to some clever code from Zach Leet, I basically just copied his code. It was great. They're lazy loaded now, so you can, when I refresh, you can probably see this flicker. So if I refresh, you see how they were all gray placeholders, and then they loaded in asynchronously. And I did that for the avatars. That was what he had done for the avatars. And then I was like, this actually would make a lot of sense for a reader as well. So I've used Monocle when I'm like on the road and on my phone and on bad Wi-Fi and on train Wi-Fi, and so I added that code to Monocle as well, which I can't log in to show you, but it's the same thing. So now all of the images in Monocle lazy load as well, which means you actually see content faster, and you can actually interact with the pages before the images load, which is great. So it's helped make it a lot more usable when I'm on really terrible internet. So, thanks.
Okay. Demo?
Yeah, I'll do a quick one. I just wanted to say thanks everyone for your patience earlier. I fixed my website. So here it is. It's Marty McGuire, that's my name, with a dot before the RE because .com was taken. And we can see now finally the IndieWeb dances.
Wait, now you can make the face. That's great.
So yeah, I think that's it. Good enough.
I'm just going to leave that on there while we wait. Okay, we have 7 minutes left in intros time, magically. Last call for demos. Anyone want to give a quick demo of their site? Anyone want to come up and say what they would like to do on their site? Like, no demo at all. Like, if you don't have a site. Yeah, come on up. And I'll give you like just an IndieWeb background.
Oh no, so this is perfect. So I'm Mitch. I have a couple domains, but the one that I use the most is sudo.coffee. And this is my website. So that's kind of my goal for today and tomorrow. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Oh well, all my services are.
So
It's really beautiful design.
this isn't more so a website than like me trying to pitch something. I've been trying to get like a site similar to IndieAuth, but like the way I like it. Does that make sense? It's very. I had a friend actually come over. Like it was like just this, and they're like, "No, you need to put this there." But yeah, there's like things I can't. Oh, of course I can look here. There's things I want to add to it, like making it easier to find like identities. Oh, this is not gonna work today. Jesus Christ. Wait, it did. Okay, that's amazing. Right. Well, okay, the gist was I'll be able to log in here, but I remember, like, I can't sign into GitHub on this computer. So, but yeah, it'll be like a whole flow. But that was largely it. Yeah, cool.
I'm sorry I'm not logged into everyone's
Next time. Yeah. Delegated login, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left. Going once, last call for personal site demos. As you can see, any state of site is totally acceptable and welcome. Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, come on up.
Hello, I'm Ariana, and very new to all of this, as in most of the stuff has never even occurred to me. So at the very beginning stages of thinking through all of this, And I guess what I'm interested in learning today, other than everything, is how to sort of negotiate personal site and wanting to be sort of a collective and working more plurally. So I'm building currently a design practice, a collective, with a partner, and we believe we produce more super work together than apart, hence super organism. So we're trying to sort of figure out what that looks like, and I'm intrigued by what that looks like on the IndieWeb and sort of how to build my own content and myself while also building this collective and sort of negotiating that balance. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't even see anyone moving or nudging. Anyone, did I? Raising their hands kind of slowly. No? Okay, I think that's it for intros. We're going to call it with 4 minutes left. Somehow we are ahead of schedule. Okay, you all are awesome. Clearly, thanks to all of you with your personal site demos being so fast and furious. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the group photo, which takes place, according to the schedule, in 4 minutes. So yeah. And as Andy pointed out, that gives you a little bit of prep time. Aaron is going to be art directing you in the photo, so I'm going to leave it up to him.
So we are going to do this photo towards the, I'm going to point the camera, turn this camera around and point it towards the kitchen. So the couches will be in the photo, and we'll have people sitting on those chairs and then standing behind the chairs. So go ahead and, yeah, tall people in the back or tall people sitting.
No, tall people in the back.
Tall people in the back.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be in the photo, that's also totally fine. Just stay out of the photo, like come to the side of the room. And yeah, clear some of these chairs up here. I am. And thank you for joining us on the live stream. We're going to kill the live stream now. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back after lunch with the streaming content. One final announcement. Attention, please. I think you can all hear me in the kitchen. One final announcement. Also, we need more people in the middle. Come into the middle. We are going to be wrapping up this portion of the broadcast. So I also wanted to give one final thank you to Vanessa, who has been typing very quickly for the last 2 hours. So thank you very much for that. And we are going to give her a break now and let her go. So thank you very much. Okay, we are going to do a little bit of rearranging here. No, actually, that's great. Tontek, you are out of the frame, so come in a little bit. This way. Stop wandering around then. Perfect. Oh, that looks great. Can somebody move these bags out of the way? And the power strip. That bag too. And okay. Nope, this is looking good now.
By the way, I looked at the setup sheet. We're up to 49.
That's extremely high.
Okay, I'm gonna start looking for faces. If you can't see the lens can't see you.
How am I doing here?
You're fine. You're fine. Edges are good. Matt, I can barely see you. Can you scoot a little over that way? And then this way? Yep. And then, yep, perfect. I see everybody. Where am I sitting? Okay, yeah, I'll go right there.
One more. Jazz hands too.
Okay, another one first with just
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Indie. Oh my God. There it goes. Okay, one more jazz hands. Everybody's gonna do like moving and jazz hands. It's animated, right? Yeah.
It's gonna yeah, there we go.
Ready? Jazz hands.
All right, thank you. This takes us to lunch.
It's not.
Hello. Is this working?
Yes.
There we go.
There we go.
This is lunch break. So feel free to go self-organize into groups and go grab lunch at food carts nearby. Feel free to eat the leftovers that are up here. The doors we'll be letting people back in starting at 1:15. So try to get back around 1:15, and we're gonna do session scheduling at 1:30, and we'll build the afternoon. You don't have to leave. You're welcome to stay here and like eat the leftovers here, or go. You just won't be able to get back in if you do leave until 1:15. Anything else?
If you're not sure where to go, come ask us.
If you're not sure where to go, find one of us or anybody who you know who happens to live in Portland.
We can leave our stuff here, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there'll be a handful of